Hello, 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 beautiful souls. Welcome to the After Hours session of Eat the Cake, Drink the Wine, and Fuck Them People podcast. Now, I am currently in Dallas, Texas. Today, I went and actually saw Abraham Hicks live, and I'm like, wow, I'm still in wow. I met up with my podcast sister RJ. Hey. She's here in the Dallas area as well. So we went out to dinner and we kind of was, just chopping it up, catching it up and everything. And I made the statement on karmic debts. And she gave me the information. She said, that's your class. That's what you need to teach. Um, because apparently a lot of people are not connected to karmic debts. They don't understand karmic cycles. And as I was explaining to her, until you recognize the karmic cycle, you keep going through it over and over and over again until you recognize it, which means you need to recalibrate, to do course correction, to get out of the karmic cycle so you can continue to elevate and move forward on your life path journey, right? So you might be saying, Coach Dot, what does that mean? So the best way that I can explain a karmic cycle is, say, for example, you work on a job and you have an issue on this job. So you quit that job and you go to a totally different job. You love the job when you start. You love the work that you're doing. You love the people that you work with. You like the people that you report to. And then all of a sudden there's a break. And now you're starting to have those same resentments and feelings of ill will or negative vibrations, negative energy that you had at the job that you just left. So now you don't like this job, so you leave this job and you go to another job, and it starts off again. Everything's going great, and everything is going the same way. And you can apply that to a relationship as well. You date this one person, everything's great. It goes left, you leave, you date somebody else, everything's going great. Then it goes left, and you recognize this is the same thing that happened with that person, but you're not that person. You don't look like that person. You don't even act like that person. But I experienced the same experience that I did with that person. So when you find yourself going around and around and around in a circle, dog chasing the tail, the dog never catches the tail because the dog doesn't realize, oh, this tail is attached to me. So until I stop running, it's always going to look like I'm chasing something other than me. That resonated with somebody. So I'm saying all of that to say the issue is really you and what you're attracting. So what you have to do is stop to recognize, what is the karmic cycle that I keep going through? What is the lesson that I keep missing? Once you connect to the lesson that you're missing, you then know how to course correct, recalibrate, and to get back on the right track. So one of the things that Abraham said in the vortex today, because I'm in the vortex, hey, was that, kind of think of it like a train track, or let's not say a train track, just a track, right? You're the track that you're on. Everything looks good, everything feels good. Then that means you're in alignment, right? Abraham Hicks basically teaches you how to be in alignment, how to come in alignment, how to know when you're out of alignment, how to come back into alignment, how to be in the vortex, how to know when you're out of the vortex, how to know what you're putting in the vortex when you're shooting off your rockets of desire, right? So when you start to feel that negative emotion, that negative vibration, those feelings that don't make you feel so good, that means you have somewhere veered off the track. So that's when you have to stop and kind of look at what events have taken place. And you guys will hear me a lot of time refer to that as shadow work. When you do the shadow work to identify the root cause of the issue, you can then properly course correct. And when you course correct, that's when you identify the things that no longer serve you for your highest and greatest good, and you start to eliminate those things and or those people. And a lot of times I feel people run into an issue when those people are people that they love, right? It's people that you love, it's people that's really close to you, and you realize, hey, you're not for my highest and greatest good, and you have to break away from them. That doesn't mean that you cannot love them anymore. It does not mean that you cannot interact with them anymore. It simply means you need to create better boundaries with them going forward. So, for example, if there's a family member that you love and they are always borrowing money from you and they say they'll pay you back, but they never pay you back, and you say, okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it because when I kind of loaned it out, the expectation was, if it comes back, cool. If it doesn't, cool. So they continuously borrow, you continuously loan, they continuously don't pay back. And you're now in this karmic cycle of trying to fix that person's karmic cycle, opposed to letting them own their karmic cycle, because their issue is they have a money relationship issue. It's mismanagement of their money in some shape, form, or fashion. Even if they're not bringing in enough money, that is still a mismanagement of their money. Because if they know they're not bringing in enough money, they need to do something for them to bring in more money. And their solution was, oh, I'll just get it from them. So now you're constantly loaning the money. They know they can't pay you the money back because they don't have a good relationship with money. So you have become their fix. You have become the fix of their karmic cycle. You have now taken on their karmic debt, right? So you're taking on their karmic debt in this lifetime, and they don't realize no one else can pay your karmic debt but you. So even though this person has decided to partake in your debt and kind of walk this thing out with you, let's kind of think of struggle love, right? They're going to walk it out with you, but it's not their karma. It's not their karmic debt. They have decided to be the recovery that you need, opposed to being the help. When you help someone, come on, preach now. When you help someone, you are helping them to course correct. You are pointing out those things that they do not see, that they do not acknowledge, or refuse to be held accountable for. So when you take ownership of that, instead of pointing it out to them, and sometimes you try to point it out in a very loving way, you try to coddle them to point it out. But sometimes you have to be in their face to let them know, this is your shit. I'm not owning it. Okay. This is when you have to really be in that fuck them people state of mind, because you have to look at, this is what I'm trying to accomplish for me, and this is what they're trying to accomplish for them. And because I keep reaching to help them, I'm never accomplishing what I want to accomplish for myself. So you're in a karmic cycle with this person paying their karmic debt. And what's sitting out over here that you want to accomplish, it never happens. And by the time you realize it, you're so far behind. And now you're running trying to play catch up, but you still have not given this person the feedback that they need to understand, this is your karmic debt. I refuse to own it. I refuse to continue making payments on it. I refuse to be the co-signer of your debt. So, how do you correct karmic debt? The way you correct karmic debt is, one, identifying the karmic cycle that you're in. Recognizing, that's step one, identifying the karmic cycle that you're in. Step two is getting down to the root cause of that karmic cycle. And sometimes that's going to call for a little shadow work, right? It means you need to go and identify, why am I in this karmic cycle? Like, when I was going down this path of joy and happiness, what choice did I make that brought me to where I'm at now, right? Once you identify what that choice is, you then have to sit down with yourself and say, okay, why did I make this choice? Did I make this choice because it made me feel good? Or did I make this choice because it made someone else feel good? And I didn't necessarily feel so good about it, but I didn't want to disappoint them, or I didn't want them to hurt, or I didn't want them to be sad. So in that instance, what you did is you refused to be selfish. Okay. And I'm sorry for the glare because I'm in the hotel as I'm giving this. Um, so if it was to make someone else happy, you have to then course correct to decide, okay, this is not my karmic cycle and it's not even my karmic debt, but I have now attached myself to it because I want to help someone. And it's usually because you love them, right? I decided to help someone and I need to detach myself from this. The proper way, in my opinion, to detach yourself from a karmic cycle that you have unknowingly attached yourself to is one, have the conversation with the person so they are connected to the fact that you are now connected to their karmic cycle and that you are refusing to be attached any further to the karmic cycle because you want to focus on what your life journey is and paying back any karmic debt that you owe. And because of that, you don't have the bandwidth to take on theirs. So now you're giving it back to them, but you're speaking, hey, I am not going to own this. I am not going to pay for this, right? And remember, I am is your affirmation statement for your root chakra. And if the root chakra is off, everything's off, right? So you are then saying it. You have decided, right? Step one is always decide. Step two is believe. So you decided, hey, this is not mine, and I don't believe this should sit with me. So I'm a return to sender. And then step three is you're saying it. You're saying it directly to them. And step four, you're going to feel it. You're going to get that feeling of relief of knowing, okay, now that I've released that back to its correct owner, I can get back on my true life journey path and walk the walk that I was supposed to walk. And I like that feeling. That makes me feel happy that I'm owning what I'm supposed to own, right? So once you've done that, you are now moving closer to the vortex, right? Because the vortex is basically where all of these good things that you want, they're all packed in there, right? By source energy. And you'll never in this lifetime, and this is what I got from Abraham Hicks today, you'll never in this lifetime be able to release all of the goodness that's in there because it's so much, right? And you always want to follow the path of least resistance to get to it. So if you find yourself fighting and clawing your way trying to get to something that you want, that you desire, that you have put out a rocket of desire for, and you know it's in your vortex, if you're getting that feeling, it means you're on the wrong path. So that's when you have to take a step back and recalibrate and figure out, okay, what choice did I make that brought me to this feeling? Once you make the realization of what the choice was, identify why did you make that choice, and then determine, is it your karmic debt or someone else's? If it's someone else's, please return to sender. Return to sender to me is not sending this evil witch hunt or this, oh, I want you to whatever, that's bad. Return to sender is basically saying, hey, I know you sent this my way because you felt I could help you or you felt I was better equipped to deal with it, but it's not mine, so I'm sending it back to you, right? Return to sender is also if someone puts an ill will towards you, you're returning that. You're saying, you know what? I don't receive this. This does not belong to me. Return to sender. The universe knows who sent it and it's going to go back. And unfortunately, usually when that happens, when the return to sender occurs, the person that sent it, their repercussion is so much worse than what they intended for you, right? That's why it says, judge not lest you be judged, because you're supposed to judge yourself. And if you're sending ill will toward anyone, 9 times out of 10, you had some kind of judgment against them and you feel this is what they deserve and you feel that you are the right person to send it. But if it's not in alignment with their purpose or their goal, and they're heavily protected, where it's the hedge around them, so to speak, that you can't touch them, and they do a return to sender, um, buckle up, because you are going to experience every single iota of what you sent and then some. So I always want to tell people to be very, 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 very careful when you decide to assist someone, because sometimes you can assist someone to help them make it or see it through. And that could be in your calling, that could be in your wheelhouse of what you were called here on earth to do. But sometimes you can overstep your boundaries that should be set, and you keep trying to help more and more and more. And then because you're helping them so much, you don't recognize that your house is on fucking fire. But because you over here trying to help them put their fire out, you don't even know your house is burning. And by the time you realize it's burning, it might be a little too late. So if you catch it early on, you'll know to say, hey, I know your house is on fire, but mine is on fire too. So let me go over here, because it's not going to make any sense for me to help you stop the fire at your house that was caused by you and your actions, which is your karmic cycle, which is your karmic debt. Because you're over here trying to put your fire out, you can't help me put mine out. And if I stay over here to help you put yours out, mine is going to burn the fuck down. And then what? I have nothing, but you at least maintain something. So what I want you to get out of that, don't allow other people to deplete and drain your energy for their benefit when it doesn't make you feel good. Like if you're feeling sad about something, if you're feeling fearful, irritated, mad, get somebody else to do it, whatever you want to put on it. If it doesn't bring you joy and happiness, why are you doing it? Why are you not willing to be selfish for you? Why are you not willing to say, hey, I know you want me to do this, and me saying yes is going to make you feel really, really good. But me saying yes is going to make me feel really, really bad. So in this moment, I'm just going to have to be selfish and let my no be a no, because no is an answer all by itself. It needs no explanation. It's just no. Just like yes is an answer all by itself. It needs no explanation. If you tell a person yes, the expectation is that you're going to fulfill what you said you're going to do. And if you tell a person no, the expectation is you ain't doing it. There's nothing else needed outside of yes or no. So I hope this has blessed you. There's so much that I learned, but right now that is the piece that I wanted to get out um, as early as possible. Just because my podcast sister RJ said that's what you need to teach. So let me know if you found value in this video telling you about karmic debt, karmic cycles, and the path of least resistance. Because we're teaching you about the tools that we use, not only in manifestation, but in your business, in this podcast, right? Because I'm going to be releasing a training called Podcast Tools. And it's going to be all the different tools that I use in my podcast that I'm going to share with you all how I use them, how I automate my systems, how do I keep up with my bookings and things, how do I do my recordings when I don't have production in the house, how do I set up my PowerPoints, how do I set up my trainings, how do I schedule my content, create my content, how do I determine what to put out as content. I personally think that holds a lot of value. So I hope you do too. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And if you think this video was good, definitely watch the next one. Thank you. Peace out. Love you. Bye.